Brazilians are different. There's a way about them that's kind of weird, for us at least. But for them, it's all perfectly normal. And that's the problem. Well, perhaps the best way to explain Brazil is by telling you about a small and unusual berry called jabuticaba. You can only find them in Brazil, and they are delicious. It's like a black grape, but with tougher skin. You burst it between your teeth, and then a sweet, creamy juice comes out. They're really tasty. Once you start, you can't stop eating them. It's just pop, pop, pop all day long. This fruit is so unique, Brazilians use it as a metaphor for all things exclusively Brazilian. They talk about jabuticaba technology, like the TV color standard they had, or their electronic voting machines, both of which you won't find anywhere else but in Brazil. The fruit's also good for describing customs that are typically Brazilian. Call it jabuticaba behavior. Take appointments, for instance. Now, it's not true that Brazilians aren't strict about appointments. Quite the contrary. Brazilians are always strictly 15 minutes late. In fact, there's no greater gaffe than showing up on time. If you do that for a dinner engagement, you can bet you'll find your hostess still drying her hair. We don't even know much about the things we think we know about Brazil. Take Carnival, for instance. Brazilian Carnival is not just a popular festivity. It's a humongous, multi-million-dollar mega event that brings the country to a full halt for 4 days and involves hundreds of thousands of people just to get the Rio Samba schools out on the Samba drome. Oh, by the way, here's another funny thing. Samba school is a misnomer. People don't go there to learn how to dance samba. Actually, only those who can dance really well are allowed to join. Go figure why they call it a school. Oh, now a word of advice. When in Brazil, whatever you do, don't ever do the OK hand gesture. Unless you want to get your ass kicked big time. It's a major obscenity. Don't ask how I found that out. Another case of jabuticaba behavior. Everybody becomes your childhood buddy at the first meet. Now, Brazilians are definitely the warmest people I've ever met. Everybody touches everybody. They hug each other like a long-lost cousin or something. So whenever you are in Brazil, don't get freaked out by this. Showing affection and having body contact is all perfectly normal, for them at least. Of course you can do just fine all on your own in Brazil, but you run the risk of losing valuable time and energy trying to figure out all these jabuticaba aspects the country has in store. That's why you should get more than a Brazilian interpreter whenever you're in Brazil. What you really need is a Brazilian friend. What you want is someone who knows the places, traditions, culture, and above all, the way of thinking of the warm and peculiar Brazilians. I would like to introduce you to my good friends in Brazil, the guys from Holding Clube. They're Brazilians who got together to produce high-quality promotional communication at a time when nobody in Brazil had any clue what that even meant. Today, 20 years later, they run 6 successful agencies. Each one has its specialty, but all 6 enjoy a very Brazilian talent. The ability to create experiences that thrill and captivate, bonding brands with their consumers. You can be sure from the moment you meet the guys from Holding Clube that they'll become as close as your closest childhood buddies. And so will your consumers.